Off to Cincinnati went an ASLOK noob one day. He was chomping at the bit and couldn't wait to play. Bringing ASL goodies, lots of food and lots of beer. But his wife, she got frustrated and said,
"Listen to me, dear, go to Cleveland, not Cincinnati. That's a wrong way to go. Go to Cleveland, not Cincinnati. Reread the directions, Joe. Good luck, darling husband. Hope you make it there. Don't take the wrong way to Cincinnati, because ASLOK's not there."
Joe, he sent a rebuff to his wife Melinda. Joe, on the off chance I don't make it, I will let you know. If I make mistakes in driving, Linda dear, said he, remember it's the map that's bad. Don't lay the blame on me.
Go to Cleveland, not Cincinnati. That's the wrong way to go. Go to Cleveland, not Cincinnati. Reread the directions, Joe. Good luck, darling husband. Hope you make it there. Don't take the wrong way to Cincinnati, because ASLOK's not there.
I can't find ASLOK, he texted Barry Joe. Would you look on Google Maps and tell me where to go?
Head northwest from Cincinnati towards the Hall of Fame. If you get there in a hurry, you might get in again. Go to Cleveland, not Cincinnati. That's the wrong way to go. Now go to Cleveland, not Cincinnati. Reread the directions, Joe. Good luck, darling husband. Hope you make it there. Don't go the wrong way to Cincinnati, because ASLOK is not there.
Oh, okay, dear. Alrighty, everybody.
Hello, friends. Welcome to another exciting episode. Yes, welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Two Half Squads, the one and only podcast dedicated 100%, I'll just say it, plain and simple, so you can all understand.
To the greatest game in the world, Advanced Squad Leader.
That's right. We don't mince words here. We tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
And I'm Dave.
And I'm Jeff. And just sit back and relax, and we will control all you see and hear, kind of like the Outer Limits.
Indeed.
You're looking well, Dave.
Well, maybe it's this nice t-shirt.
I think that
means
I think that's exactly what it is.
You're looking well too, except our cameras don't show what the t-shirts are. So we have to, lower our cameras. We have matching ASLOK t-shirts, except of course they are from last year. Did you notice?
No, I didn't notice because I can't read Roman numerals. So I made that a New Year's resolution 3 years ago to learn to read Roman numerals, but I haven't started yet.
So as that opening song said, I went to ASLOK.
Yeah, that was a great opening song. Well done. You and your lovely wife.
Just me.
Well,
the song was my wife and I, yes.
Yes. But you're the only one that went to ASLOK.
Yes.
And you bought me this nice shirt, and I appreciate that.
And I did. I thought you'd be able to get and all I got was this lousy t-shirt out of it.
You should feel how good it feels on me.
I can hear good
Can
it
you?
feels.
Feels so nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm a little jealous that you went to ASLOK, and I'm a little disappointed that we got last year's t-shirt. Why?
Because
why is that?
If I got this year's for me.
Oh, you did.
But if I got one for you, it would have cost more. These were cheaper because
these were
had
cheaper.
a bunch of the old ones hanging around.
No, I think that's smart. A man after my own wallet.
Actually, I don't think he had one in your size because they were
Sure.
ordered specifically, and then I don't know, in the past he had extras. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Well, I'll just run this over to my haberdasher and have him make up one maybe in silk or something
But it's got a nice,
and change the date.
you know, is that a Chiha or a Haro tank
Yeah.
from the Pacific on it from 2023?
Yep. And
And
I think we should walk around with these on. Maybe we should go to breakfast with these on, and people will stop us and say, "Are you guys brothers?" Yes, we are.
because we look so much alike.
We do. So how was ASLOK? Tell
Yeah,
me.
well, getting there was the fun part. So we were doing that.
Being there was no fun.
No, it was.
But getting there was fun.
The concept, how it happened, was interesting.
Ah,
Because as you know, we did the CCEF, Christian Counseling, even Educational Foundation Conference we do every year.
Of course.
So in the past, I talked about Dallas, I talked about Virginia Beach, I talked about Hershey, and this is Chattanooga. Did that, meetings, nice long lunch and dinner breaks. And then Sunday, Laura's sister-in-law came in. They were happened to be going through Chattanooga and niece, and we got to watch the Bears-Panthers game in a bar for lunch in Chattanooga. There's one other guy clapping behind me, I hear, and my niece goes, "Oh yeah, Dave, there's
Bears.
one Bears guy
One
over
Bears
there.
guy.
One other Bears guy over there." And so, of course, I'm an old guy, so I can just go up to strangers and start talking to them. And
Yes, you can.
we were like high-fiving and, "Oh, Caleb Williams, is it true? Might we have a quarterback?" And you wouldn't understand all that. He's the guy that throws the football.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He throws it?
Yeah.
Is that allowed?
Or yeah, you can. It's
Wow.
called passing, or you can hand it off.
Huh.
And so that was fun. And we did Rock City, and I can get into, probably should save that for another banter show.
Okay.
And then Civil War stuff. So yeah, we'll do that on another banter. And then we were going up through Ohio, Cincy, up toward her mom's house, Toledo, and Cleveland's right over there. And what's happening in Cleveland the same weekend is ASLOK. And so Saturday, Laura's like, "Just go." And I'm like, "Well, it's 2 hours away." I didn't bring the recording equipment. I just had this computer I'm recording on here, but not with a good microphones. And then I'm going to drive 2 hours, hang out for a day, drive back 2 hours. Just go. I'm like, yeah, let's live crazy.
Yeah,
let's just
really
go. And so I jumped in the car, and when I got back and started to put the show together is when I found and remembered suddenly, isn't there an ASLOK song that Dennis wrote? And that is perfectly correct, because what you heard on the song, I was driving, you just put in this Aurora, Ohio location, and the place is really nice. I'll throw up a picture here. But I suddenly get that, like, how do I know that Google Maps knows? I know you love when people don't trust technology, right?
I do. I love it. It's my favorite thing.
So I'm just like, oh, what if I'm getting lost? And what if this is the wrong? And I almost texted Laura and said, "Can you check this on your Google map and see if I'm near the right area?" And just struck me as funny that, just trust it. And that was in the song Dennis wrote. If you
yeah, so, that's right,
honey, I'm not sure where I'm at. Can you check the map, Google Maps? And I actually was thinking of that, like, what if I'm not even near it?
You didn't see signs for it? It's not one of those.
When I saw finally, no, they don't put Aurora or ASLOK.
Yeah, they put Chicago, or Los Angeles this way, Miami that way,
right,
and everything in between is.
Like when people were coming up from Westmont to visit me in Palatine for the first time ever, and they turned around because the signs all said like Rockford.
Yeah, right.
Chicago, Rockford.
Yeah.
And they're like, Rockford. Dave, you can't even get.
Yeah,
that was before Google Maps.
Yeah.
So anyway, walk in, and Brett Hildebrand's there.
Did you have to introduce yourself to everybody?
Cutting his
counters.
David
Kleinschmidt.
Well, I didn't have a half squads hat. I was wearing a Kansas City ASL t-shirt. No, I did have a half squads hat, but it was my faded one that I play tennis in.
Oh,
Not the bright one that's up there.
yeah.
It looks more like yours, although yours is starting to peel too. And yeah, it was great. So we got some commitments for upcoming interviews, Schilling, Hildebrand, and I think there's a fourth in there. And I got some recorded.
That's
and
fantastic.
So we'll be getting to some interviews in a little bit.
Yeah.
Have a little contest, take a look at what we played lately. And what have you been up to? Because I had to go spur of the moment to ASLOK by myself.
Yeah, I wish I had something that exciting. The only thing I've done is gone to the doctor. I went to the doctor, which has been getting interesting. You know, when I turned 65, and I know it's hard to believe that I did, but I did go to the doctor. Now the nurse is very different with me. She'll say, "I'm going to take your blood pressure now." Really? Yeah. I'm going, please put your finger on this for the thermometer so I can take your temperature. I have now taken your temperature. I'm right here, but I get it, but it's also a little spooky. So then the doctor comes in to see me and we talk and it's not the same as it used to be. It's very like you lay down and he taps me on the chest and on the hips and feels my ankles. And then he says, "Okay, get out of here." So that's it. So I was just curious about it. So when the itemized bill came through through Medicare, I took a look at it and I was looking at all the stuff that he bills for.
Yeah.
And one of them was the manual digital examination of prostate, which was like $63. And I thought, I don't remember that. The manual digital examination of the prostate. I don't remember that. So maybe it's
because you're old or because
yeah, well, it made me think of the nurse. "I am now examining your prostate." No, she never did that. And he never did that. And so I thought, he never did that. This is the second time this has happened.
This is fraud.
Well, and I thought, should I call him and say,
Then
you did not manually, digitally examine my prostate, and I want to come in and get that?
Yeah, but then when you go in next time, they might start to poison you slowly. you might report them to the Medicare fraud people.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel a little like I'm upset because I wasn't violated. I don't know. I don't know what to think. I'm mixed. So if anybody else has had that experience,
yeah,
I would like to know.
Yeah, well,
but anyway, everything else was fine. That was my big experience.
Yeah, maybe she did, but forgot to just tell you she was. I think that's probably the most likely.
You would think I would remember it, though, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you think?
You're 65 or something. Oh no.
Well, still, I know.
I'm only 63.
I
don't know.
I know when
like to be 65.
Yeah, I know when there's manual digital examination going on.
Yeah, you might want to check that out.
So yes,
yeah, I was kind of like gets to where like my mom at some point, right? You bring in your elderly parents and they go, "Well, yeah, we'll just kind of run through this quick and there's nothing to do anymore."
Yeah. He did say a couple of times that I said, what's this pain about? "Oh, you're getting old." "How about this pain over here?" "Oh, you're getting old." Oh.
Yeah, that was like my finger that no longer goes back. It's not a trigger finger. It's some kind of other genetic thing. But yeah, she was like, "Yeah, get used to it."
Yeah,
like,
there we go. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
All right.
Absolutely.
That's why we're having some Jeffersons.
We are. You already.
Oh, yeah.
You already clink.
I spilled mine.
You already clink and drink yours.
Clink and drink. Did we clink loud enough?
These mics are amazing.
Jefferson's bourbon. Well, shall we get on with the show?
I think so. First up, how about? And so, oh yeah, Jeff and I also saw Rich Summers at ASLOK, which you won't recognize because he wrote early articles in the General and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so there he was, and he was with Bob Bendis, and I was like, Rich Summers. I said, I know you. You're famous. He's like, what? I go, you're famous. And he's like, who are you? And I'm like, I do a podcast on Dave. I'm a big fan of yours. And it's so interesting to see how he's like, I haven't played squad leader in 20 years. I'm like, what just shows you how famous you are.
Yeah.
Because I remember you, and you, like, didn't you write stuff for these early generals or journals? He goes, yeah, I did. Yeah. I wrote a bit. And I'm like, well, you have to come on the show. And he's like, oh, me? Why would I be? I would.
So what's he doing at ASLOK? Just hanging out with his buddies?
Returning, yeah.
Is he getting back into it?
We started a game with Bob Bendis, and I recorded
a
little bit of their game, which
okay.
may not make good entertainment for the crowd, but we'll look at it later. But first up, we have an interview with who, Jeff?
Ed Beekman.
And he is famous for...
Well, he's from the Texas ASL group.
Yeah.
The
northern one.
Yeah, northern Texas.
And he hosts...
they have a tournament of some kind. Let me look it up. The Shootout, North Texas Shootout.
That sounds familiar, right?
Yeah.
I believe that is what he is going to tell us about in this interview right here.
Excellent.
All right. Hi, this is Dave again in the field, spur of the moment ASLOK trip. And I have been lucky enough to find and meet for the first time, right?
Yes.
Ed Beekman. Ed, would you want to tell us a little bit about your gaming background?
My gaming background started in high school when a friend of mine had strategy and tactics, and we decided to play a game. And I bought one of the games out of there, and I set it up at home. And my mom came in and says, "What's this? It's a war game." "Oh, what's it about?" "It's the Battle of Casino." And says, "Really? My Uncle Bill was in Casino."
No, really.
And we looked at it, and we found there was one American unit, and that was what Uncle Bill was in. And
wow,
I was hooked.
Yeah, that would do it.
Mm-hmm. And then my friend got squad leader as a birthday present. My best friend, still is my best friend. And he says, "This looks interesting." We started playing it, and again, wham, we were hooked. And we played everything in squad leader, and we picked up all the expansions.
Yeah.
I was hooked.
Yeah,
and I've been playing it ever since.
Yep, of course I can relate, loving the game.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. And then you're from Texas.
Dallas Fort Worth area.
And that's the northern
branch of the Texas ASL groups.
Okay.
Because we have main branches in Austin, and we have branches in North Texas, Houston, San Antonio. Big groups there.
Okay, didn't know it was that many.
Oh, yeah. We're associated.
Yeah.
We just work with each other.
And then you did say you are running a tournament?
Yes, we have a tournament. This is our 15th year of the North Texas Shootout Tournament, which actually originated as the Oklahoma City Tournament.
Oh, okay.
So they ran it for, I believe, 3 years, and we'd always been talking about maybe we should have a tournament in North Texas, but they lost support locally, and Mike, who ran it, actually John was running at the time, turned to me and says, "Would you like to take over our tournament for us?" Talked to our guys and said, "Sure, we'll take over." And so
you weren't smart enough to say no.
Yeah, smart enough to say. So we kept it, we didn't have a whole lot of time to get going, so we kept the same format, trophies and everything. We just changed the name to the North Texas Shootout from the Oklahoma City, I believe it's the 45th Division, because their museum was where they had it. So we changed it to North Texas Shootout to make it more Texan than Oklahoma.
Yeah, excellent. And then, is there anything else we should know about that? I mean, it's advertised. We can find it on Facebook.
Well, I'm so busy making it. I'm trying to get my local guys to help me with the marketing. So they've been posting on Game Squad. We're not highly marketed because I hate marketing.
Yeah.
And the local guys probably don't like it as much as I do either. Yeah. So we do post on Game Squad, and we had a website years ago which we had everything on there, but some schmuck hacked us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so it was no longer available, and then we're trying to get it fixed, and the host, I had to change my credit card, and the host
Oh,
didn't send me a
no.
message saying to renew. Hey, your credit card is any good? And so I don't think we even have our website domain anymore. So,
Yeah, probably not.
you know, it's something we can work on. We have a guy that can help us, but we're kind of busy and tough to match up. And we're eventually planning to get it back up and going, but who knows when or if.
Yeah, well, feel free to always shoot us an email and we'll
Yeah.
advertise it
Yeah.
on the
All right,
show. But
I'll send you a note about it.
for those people
Yeah,
that
yeah.
listen. And so then we have a product here.
Yes, we have a product. 5 years ago, we put out a Fistful of Scenarios, 6 scenarios.
And how was that produced?
That was designed by our local players. We play tested them out. Yep. You know, we got to thank Rick Reinish from Austin. And
Rick?
He's a big wig in DFP, and we got to thank him for helping us with the layout and the printing. And this year, we're going to put out our second pack. 5 years later, our second pack is coming out. And this is a Fistful of Scenarios. Well, guess what the new pack is called?
It's a few dollars more.
For a few scenarios more. Yes. And 5 years from now, we're planning to put out
the good,
the bad, and the ugly scenarios.
You can see we're the same generation.
Yes, yes.
We know the same cultural
Yes,
references
yes.
here. So yeah, fantastic. And then local gamer guys, some of the names of the guys are who comes to the club there?
Oh, well,
of course, you'll forget someone.
Well, yeah. Well, the regulars are Matt Evans. He's a good designer. He's made some solid property designs for us. Ralph Geringer comes all the time. Arlen Bannock and Chris Kubik are local guys. They tend to show up for the tournament, but they've moved and they're not as close, but they're good members of our group. And we're picking up a lot of new guys.
Oh, cool. Very exciting.
Because we used to meet at my house all the time, but we have a lot of guys from the North Dallas area. So we rotate between my house and North Dallas. And when we go to the North Dallas area, it's at a gaming business where you can play games there, and they just come in. And we've been lucky enough to pick up about 4 new players who have only played squad leader. And so we're introducing them to ASL, and they are just like, oh, wow, this is really cool.
Now, are they starting with starter kit?
No.
Okay.
There's a couple they played ASL and they said, let's start with starter kit because it's similar to squad leader. And so they are really enjoying it.
Okay.
And so 2 of them are actually playing each other fairly frequently. And another guy who only played since GI Roll of Victory, I played with him and showed him some of the chrome and the advancedness of advanced squad leader over at squad leader. And they really enjoyed the game.
Yes. Excellent.
So we're hoping to get them in, and they should come in, and we're going to have a starter kit mini in our tournament, and hopefully they will get into it.
All right. Excellent. Well, anything else you'd like to leave the listenership or viewership before we end our interview?
The game is great, and roll low.
Indeed.
All right, that's Ed Beekman, everybody.
Cool.
If you live in the area, as you heard there, get out there and go to the tourney, go to those little sessions, and volunteer to play test. That's always a fun thing to do for him and for everybody. And Jeff, what do you think about that Fistful of Scenarios that he gave us?
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. 6 nice scenarios.
So we're going to offer that up now as a prize. We have 2 copies. I have the one we have, and we have the new one donated. Fistful of Scenarios from the North Texas ASL group. If you would like that, send us a email that says,
give me a fistful.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Give me a fistful.
Yes. Okay. And send that to us by
November 15th.
Yeah, we'll do the full. Yeah, November 15th.
Okay. Yeah, just put in the title or the subject line of the email. Fistful. Give me a fistful.
And so,
or give me a manual digital examination of the prostate.
But don't charge me for it.
But don't charge me for it. $63. It was something like that. $63. I would do it for half that. I could do it myself.
What have you been playing lately? What have you been playing lately?
And we have played, Mike, Rizzy, and I played last Saturday night. And we played Stalingrad Depot.
This is from the Fistful?
Yes,
Pack?
it is.
Okay.
And this is a Vote G map here, Valor of the Guards.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a small section of all the railroads and the depot, train depot, or train station in the middle, a big 6-hex building.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a NKVD strong point. So everyone's fanatic in there. Mike took the Russians. I'll throw a picture up here and post it on the web page for you audio listeners.
Did you get out the whole map?
Yeah, that was the funny part. Mike says,
Yeah.
let's hope it's not on in between the two half of the map.
Yeah,
It's
right.
in the middle. And I'm like,
And it
no,
was?
I don't think so. Because look, it's a one piece on the scenario card. And then
Yeah.
of course it is right through the two halves.
Oh, okay.
This section and then this.
So you had to open the whole map.
Both of them on the thing. We folded under the edge at the
you
third
did?
of each
Okay.
side, took up the whole table to play here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
7 turns.
And is this an Ed Beekman original?
Oh, good question. No,
Who's the
thank
designer?
you. Arlen Vanek, North Texas ASL development
okay.
team.
Yeah, I don't know that name.
Ed has developed this one, Veritable Delay, Into the Woods. Ralph Gehringer is what you're going to get here with the Fistful of Scenarios. Chris Kubik, Ralph Gehringer, Matt Evans, layout Rick Reinish, proofing Ed, and their playtest group. And so then I played the Germans attacking, and it looked originally like too many Germans because there's 12. There's only 6 squads defending this depot. But again, all fanatic and every hex fortified.
Oh.
So you can't enter it unless there's a half squad, or they're broken in there, right, in close combat. But the Germans had these 2 DCs, so I came up and Mike reminded me, are you just placing them to blow up, or are you trying to breach the fortified location?
Oh, right.
Oh, well, of course. I'm
Yes.
trying to breach the fortified location because that's the only way I can enter into close combat without firing and firing until you break in your +4 protection.
Right.
And it worked. I rolled on a
Oh, you did?
DCs for both of them to breach 2 hexes, advance in melee round or 2, and then have the foothold to start taking over the buildings. I had this mortar and I just had a total loss what to do with it. I launched it like 8 times with rate into a +4 hex, and no effect.
Yeah.
And then sniper, and I'm like, I'm done with that.
Yeah.
So someone else post a comment. What was I supposed to do with that mortar? Is it just historically accurate? It's not a roofless building. But also now here, the Russians could not leave the strong point. That's in I was looking for the special rule here, but it's in the NKVD rules in the rule book. And in an NKVD strong point, if an NKVD unit is next to the commissar, anyone next to those 2 people's units, counters, can do the rally thing. Rally better without the +4.
Yeah.
All that stuff a commissar used to get.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they have real strong rallying potential. And so that's where when I saw this 12 Germans coming in, actually 15 squads against just that 6, I was like, oh, I'm going to cream you, Mike. You better take the balance. But it ended up the last turn, the last hex.
You did
to make my way all the way through.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a flamethrower, and my flamer did not lose its flame.
Well, that's good.
That's very potent then. Yeah. And he had 12 mine factors, which only hit 1 on the way in.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see what other people say about that mortar, because I've played scenarios like that too, and I think, what is this doing in here?
Yeah, no smoke.
I just figure somebody smarter than me,
yeah, maybe
knew to put it in there, and
maybe, but see, they couldn't leave the building, so there was no skulking.
Yeah.
Maybe you'd put it up normally to hit debris hex behind the building. So if they skulked out and back in,
I suppose.
you could just plunk them there. That's one idea. But in this one, they're in that building and it's just a slugfest. So
Yeah.
there you go. That's what Mike and I played lately.
Nice. Nice.
And next up, we have
Another interview from Dave. Did you say Dave Wiesanhahn?
Dave Wiesanhahn.
Wiesanhahn?
Yes.
Wiesanhahn.
And he runs a club known as
The DC Conscripts,
Yes.
if memory serves.
And as Jeff had mentioned long ago, we need to probably interview all of the club leaders.
Yeah, we would like to, talk to everybody. Doesn't have to be the leader.
Yeah, anyone.
It could be anybody who's well-spoken.
Right. Anyone from your group
Who
can
can
they can feel free to contact us, but
Yeah, really.
nobody does. But when we approach you at ASLOK, most
Yeah.
people are willing to speak.
Yeah,
So
that's nice.
we will run this interview with Dave Wiesanhahn.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right, I'm back again in the field at ASLOK. What's the number of this ASLOK?
It's in the 20s.
In the 20s. ASLOK in the 20s. For the moment, stop off. And with me is
Dave Wiesanhahn.
Dave Wiesanhahn. And he is a very famous war gamer because he runs the local
DC Conscripts.
DC Conscripts. And as our listeners know, we've been talking about we need to call each of these clubs. So far, we got through SoCal and I think another New York one. And then we haven't gotten back to it. So we're back to it today. Tell us about the club, how it started, what you know, or what you do with it now today, and then who else, everything about it. How's that?
Sure. The DC Conscripts is based in Washington, D.C., and that includes Northern Virginia, Maryland. We have people that come down almost from Baltimore to join us, and people from further south in Virginia, down in Fredericksburg, and other places like that. And if anybody's willing to make the drive, we're happy to play a game with them.
Hear that? Anybody make the drive? They are happy to play a game of ASL. What if I'm a starter kit guy? Can I come by?
So absolutely. I started playing ASL with starter kit, and I tried to generate a lot of interest in starter kit and welcome starter kit players. And I've moved on to the full game, but I still really encourage starter kit players to join us. And so they're absolutely welcome. And the good news is after COVID, we started getting a lot of starter kit players. And so generally every time we have a meeting, if you want to play starter kit, you'll probably find an opponent.
Okay, there you go. You all heard that? Boy, the lighting got better suddenly. I wish it was like that when I interviewed Alan. Because, we had just talked on the podcast. I don't think you listened really, right?
When I can, yeah.
Talking about asking about starter kit players. So you started with starter kit.
Mm-hmm.
So you're filling 2 roles today that we didn't even know.
Well, and so we sort of have evolved into sort of 3 levels because the Conscripts has been around for a long time, for 20, 30 years. And we have some very, very good, strong players that play. And I enjoy playing them. Occasionally I have a modest result. I'm not saying I ever win, but I feel like I hold my own. There's also a level of the full ASL players like myself now who are still climbing our way up the ladder in terms of knowledge and skills and ability. And we enjoy playing with each other because if we have a rules question, we'll stop and figure it out or ask one of the veterans. And then we have the starter kit players, and when they're ready to move up, we're happy to have them.
Okay, sounds fantastic. And then, so who got you into ASL kind of thing?
So my story is sort of typical. I grew up in the 60s and 70s, and my first war game was Midway.
Oh.
And I grew up in a Navy town. My dad was in the Navy, and my mom was at a garage sale. And I used to like to play Battleship, but she was at a garage sale, and she brought home Midway. I still remember on the box was magic marker, and it said 50 cents on there. She said, "I don't know if you're going to like this. I don't know anything about it." She gave it to me. I opened it. I read the rules, and I was like, "I'm never playing Battleship again. This is so much better." And as a kid, I just loved military history and the war in the Pacific. And I loved reading about Midway and battles like that. So it's just the perfect thing at the perfect time. So in the 70s, I started with the zone of control games, Stalingrad and Waterloo, Battle of the Bulge. I played that probably 50 million times by myself and with my friends. But then you go to school, you go to college, family, kids, job. And I fell out of the hobby for a long time. And then maybe about 10 years ago, I just had this idea. I wonder if I can find Panzerblitz on eBay.
Okay.
And I thought for sure wargaming would be completely dead, and I'd find some dusty copy of Panzerblitz. It'd be moldy and stinky and everything. But I found out that this hobby has actually been thriving since the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And so eventually I read about Advanced Squad Leader. I got the starter kit one. I read the rules, had no idea what to do, and just started teaching myself. And I still remember the first turn I played by myself of Veerville probably took me 4 or 5 hours to go through just one turn. I'd roll 12 and I'd think, what the heck? That's something.
Yeah, something.
What is that? What is that? What is it? But then slowly and surely, I taught myself. I started playing. And when COVID hit, just by networking through the internet and other things like that, I found some starter kit players, and we played on Vassal. And a lot of them were local in the DC area. And when they started loosening the restrictions, I had them over to my house, and I just had this informal starter kit group going in the DC area. And so that was like 2020, and a lot of us have moved up to the full game. Some of those people are still playing starter kit. And then I got involved in the club. I found out about the club, and I sort of took over planning the game days. And we have 2 game days a month, generally, depending on holidays. And we only had one this month because half the club is here. And they're usually the last Saturday of the month in Fairfax, Virginia. And then I'll choose another date towards the beginning of the month. And I try and rotate that location around to give people different options and things like that.
Yeah, good. Yeah, because I did host a PASL, a little Palatine area, Advanced Squad Leaders, players for probably a decade plus. It's usually these things are longer than you think, right? Oh, maybe it was 5 years. No, it was easily 10. And I always had it at my house, so I always had to come there. So the idea of moving that around sounds nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and since DC and the metropolitan area is so large, we have people coming from the South, coming from Baltimore, coming from Maryland, and we meet on Saturdays. So in the DC area, usually the drive there at 7 or 8 or 9 in the morning isn't too bad. It's the drive home in the afternoon that really can make things difficult.
Yeah, right. And I ran a weeknight, so that was people coming out of Chicago to my suburban home on a weeknight. It's not good, but yeah. So now the conscripts, weren't they around longer?
Yeah, so they've been around, I think, since the 90s and into the 2000s. And the way a lot of these things happen, they sort of come and go and ebb and flow.
Yeah.
And I think 5 or 10 years ago, it was more of an ebb tide, and but people are just getting back into the game, and MMP and all the third-party publishers are publishing a lot of great material.
A lot.
And we have people playing PTO, and that's what I like about the game is I've played Burma, I've played 1945 in Berlin, I've played Spanish Civil War scenario, I played on the Russian front, I played all around the world with all kinds of different feelings for the forces you have, the troops you have. And that's one of the challenges of the game is how are you going to take some troops that aren't especially good, but still accomplish your mission. I mean, sometimes it's easy when you have SS with Tiger and things like that, but how do you do it when you don't have that? And so on any given week, any given play day, we have a big range of scenarios.
Yeah, and that's even in starter kits still, right? Because they added I've kind of decided not to purchase the starter kit other than reviewing it on the show. If MMP would like to send us a free product, like some other companies, you could be a sponsor. But I have to buy it. So our friend Mike bought the last action pack, so he came on and went over those, and they do have the Pacific. I just sold my Pacific starter kit on eBay. Yeah. But they don't, and then like the Spanish Civil War was a starter kit too?
No, that wasn't starter kit.
Oh, okay, could be outside, but it could be,
It could be.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it could easily be,
sure.
right.
The starter kits have really been, I think they've taken a life of their own. And if that's all you play, that will keep you busy for a long time. I think they're up to around 100 scenarios.
Oh, already, okay.
And it's a fantastic system in itself. And again, compared to the first war games I played, it is such a rich thing.
It is. So I would recommend starter kit for sure for anybody. Like if my boys wanted to get into it and keep it simple, I would thoroughly encourage that, because it is, and you can play the replay value of all the products.
Yeah,
it's very high. I think you're one of the first people though to come out of, did you say Battleship to Midway?
Yeah, well, that's just like 1960s something.
Most people are land stuff. It's Panzerblitz or it's like that. Not to say Midway was one of your first games. That's cool.
Yeah, well, that was before Panzerblitz came out.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, and then we were used to playing the zone of control games, and when Panzerblitz came out, it blew our mind because you could just move past somebody, and there's no zone of control.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, how do we handle this? How do we do this? And then Squad Leader came out about the time I was, going off to college, and so I didn't play it back then. But that was just another level of, wow, this is really fantastic. I mean, the flavor and the dynamics and the mechanisms that they're putting into this, it was really wonderful.
Yeah, it's good stuff. People bringing their imagination to reality to try and recreate that in simulation. It's always good. Yep, for sure. As I mentioned before on the air, my mom brought home Gettysburg from a garage sale. And
same thing.
All we had done was my brother invented some kind of game with miniatures, like drawing a map of California, I think, or something. I don't remember what Invasion America, I forget. Something else. Maybe he made up the landscape.
Well, I guess I did that too. In our backyard, we would make battlefields, and we used rubber band guns.
Oh, you did the actual shooting of the miniatures.
Yeah, so we'd set them up, and instead of
the bigger plastic ones, right? Not the Airfix.
I don't remember. They're little ones.
Yeah.
And then if I make a model of the ship, maybe if I wasn't very good at modeling, and if I didn't really like what I did, maybe I'd put some glue on it, set it on fire.
Yeah.
And this is the fire boat coming to get you.
We destroyed a patent tank once, in our backyard. But yeah, we built a Gettysburg diorama. My brother did little round top,
awesome,
big round top for school, round top. And so my mom had seen that and seen this little game, and she was smart enough to think Gettysburg, maybe they'll like it. We couldn't figure it out, but the idea was good, Mom. Yeah. So, all right. Well, anything you want to add to the listenership or viewership?
Yeah, one more plug. We have a tournament every July called Human Wave, and it's in Fairfax, Virginia. And we'd love to have you, starter kit friendly, and we have all ranges. We have some very, very good veteran players in our club. So the competition's good, but we have fun, and I guarantee you'll learn something and have a good time.
Okay, it is on Jeff and mine's list to do, except we stopped going to tournaments for so long. Now maybe we'll get back into it.
Come on down.
Get out there. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
And
Dave Wiesanhahn.
here's to Dave
Clink and drink, Dave.
Wiesanhahn. Oops.
Okay, next up we have a little
Scenario from
a little scenario from our friend
Grumble Jones.
Grumble Jones, also known as
Kermit Mullins.
Yes.
It's the Halloween special.
Yeah, and we haven't done any Halloween effects or Halloween noises. I think we've done that enough over the years.
Maybe, but this show should air on the 25th, and then we can try to cram one out for the 1st.
Yeah. There is so much Halloween stuff around the neighborhoods here. It's unbelievable. I've got to think there's just ships full of Halloween stuff unloading constantly.
Because that longshoreman strike is off for the moment. So they are unloading them.
Yeah. So Kermit sent us this scenario that he came up with called Razin Sasquatch. And this one takes its historical background from the time when the Japanese Imperial Army was sending high altitude balloon bombs toward the coast of North America. They would just float them up in the air and we'd caught in the jet stream. And they're thinking they would come over into the Pacific Northwest and fall into the forest and light the forests on fire and somehow affect the war effort. I don't think they were very effective in that. I think there was only
No.
one family was killed.
Yeah, I think there was only very few casualties.
Yeah,
but
very,
sadly,
very few.
Sadly, that is true.
Yeah. So it kind of this scenario kind of plays off of that and supposes that one of the balloon bombs land and kills a Sasquatch child, and which upsets the Sasquatch, and then they're out for,
Understandably.
yeah, understandably so. So this there is the American side pitted against three. Well, let's see how many squads do we have on the American side? 10 squads and 3 leaders, and then Raz himself, who is sort of the leader of the whole thing, and against 3 Sasquatch and 10 balloon bombs, and the scenario victory conditions are for the Americans to locate the body of the dead child Sasquatch and return it to the ranger station. Meanwhile, the Japanese Sasquatch is out to prevent that from happening.
Can't beat that with a stick.
No, you can't. So interesting. I don't know what you do for the Sasquatch counter, because I don't think there's a Sasquatch. Was there a Sasquatch counter in Croix de Guerre? No, I don't think so.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Was there a baby Sasquatch counter maybe in Gung Ho?
No, they were thinking about putting one in. But
Yeah.
no.
So I'm not sure exactly what you do about that. He doesn't, does he say in here? Did you read through the whole scenario?
No.
I don't think he says. But the Sasquatch is, oh, well, I guess he used a 10-1 leader.
Oh, so here's a quick look. If you go to Grumble Jones ASL blog, you can find his classic write-up that he does so brilliantly. He gives a nice tribute to the people that were died. There's actually a memorial in Oregon, I guess.
Yeah.
To those that died in the bombing. But then, of course, he breaks into showing some of the troops there and gets into this scenario fantasy mix write-up in this diagram of this battery balloon thing that they were talking about in the scenario. You really got to go here. You got to read it. Pictures of Sasquatch and so forth. That is thoroughly entertaining as always. So thank you very much for that.
That's one of those things that I never really, well, I think when I was very little, I kind of believed in Sasquatch, but we didn't call him that back in those days.
He was called Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. Yes. Thank you. Suddenly I couldn't remember what he was called.
Really?
Yeah. Bigfoot. I was thinking of the abominable snowman,
who
which
is
later
also known as
the Yeti.
The Yeti.
Yeah.
Now, do you know my theory on Bigfoot?
No.
It is a Gigantopithecus Gigantopithecus. Yeah. Which is one of the early humans, the big one.
Oh, okay.
And some are still around. Remember, there was Lucy. There was, I used to have these memorized.
Oh, yeah. I knew.
Africanus, whatever. Yes. And then Australopithecus was this big. They found them somewhere. The bones.
In Australia.
Or China.
Yeah, there's Australopithecus africanus and
Gigantopithecus.
Gigantopithecus. No, I didn't know that. I'm not really up on my anthropology.
It's okay. I'm obviously not either. But
now, do you have oh, I see you've got the scenario behind you.
I'm going to share screen again.
Okay.
Wait for it.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
And there we go, Jeff. Are you seeing the Gigantopithecus?
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that.
It is. I thought it was an early human. Maybe it's just an ape. An extinct genus from 300,000 years ago, maybe in southern China.
I'm sure we are related in some way.
Yeah. So you can see that is what Bigfoot is today.
And so how is it that nobody's ever found one other than those fleeting images
That's all you because the deep state is covering up the fact that they found them.
Okay.
And they found them and they have them in Area 51.
Okay.
No, Area 52. It's 52. It's right next to Area 51.
Whoa.
Yep.
Shh.
Everybody knows that.
Boy, you're risking a lot by saying that.
Was I not supposed to reveal the?
I disavow.
existence?
I have never met Dave Kleinschmidt. I do not know Dave Kleinschmidt.
Well,
That looks like that looks like a fun scenario. If you're looking for something fun for Halloween, that looks like kind of a blast.
Yep, gotta just do it. Have some fun. ASL doesn't have to be serious all the time. Well, Jeff, I think that's a show.
Okay.
And coming up next show, interview with some Canadian gentlemen that I met there.
Good.
And maybe a look at the game Bob and Rich started. And who knows what else.
You'll have to, folks, you'll have to tune in to see what else is coming up on that next show.
Yep.
We don't even know.
But,
well, thanks everybody for listening. And thank you, Dave, for all of your hard work out on the road reporting.
An absolute pleasure.
We're going to have to get you one of those, get a camper for ASL Dave on the road.
Yeah. Put the Half Squad's
Charles
logo
Carroll
on it.
Yep.
Charles Carroll. It's a good thing our audience is old, so people know what
they know who that is. Yeah, well, thanks everybody for listening. Remember to roll low
and rally well,
but not when you're playing us. Thanks everybody.
Bye everybody.
Happy Halloween.
Boo.